So here I made a world, a prototype world, and inspired in the firing range of Apex Legends. But I can't move. And in here, this is a video continuation on the previous video where we made the world scene and the player scene. And in this video, we will continue that part by making the the movement of the player. And since this is a mobile PC game, before that we will first make script for moving with the use of PC. So if we play here, we can't move, bro. We can't move. But and I'm itching to move, so let's make the script. So first, let's create the movement of our player from the keyboard, forward, backward, left, and right. And first, we would have to create a script, which is this one. I've created already a script and I just loaded it in here. And let's see, for detection of the W key, let's create a variable called forward, assign it to the class input, which is used to detect any input pressed to any controller, which could be mouse, a keyboard, and other else. And in my case, I want to use the input class property is action pressed, and I want to create another input, and we can do that by navigating to the project settings, add new action, let's name it as forward, and then listening for input, I will press my W, press OK, then close. Now if we go down here, the forward will be detected, and um, that is how we will detect the inputs of our move forward. So let's take a step back and create a variable movement speed. Move speed be assigned to have a strength of 1000.0. And then let's also create a variable called force. Let's assign it to the vector tree, which is used for 3D in Godot, and assign it to the 0. So vector tree has coordinates of x, y, and z, and then I've assigned it to 0. So essentially, it is a predefined constant. And predefined constants are, for me, are just variables waiting to be used. So they will change over time, I think. And so I've used the predefined constant rather, and assign it to the force. And I will explain it later. Now I will have an attempt to press my W key for detection, I guess. If input is action pressed, okay, forward. So if the W, which is the named forward we just named earlier, if W is pressed, it should take a certain action. And this is why I will put it in here. Excuse me. But before that, we will have to write the force variable, have an assignment operator, and use the transform basis. Transform basis, and it would have the transform basis of the coordinate z multiplied by the move speed and delta. And then we should apply, actually, the rigid body 3D has a property called apply central force, and then pass in the force we just um, declared with this calculation. So if we run, oh, it's backward. Okay. So let's have an explanation here, and I will try my best to explain. So I've assigned a force variable to the vector 3, 0, which is a predefined constant. And if the W is pressed, it would take this calculation. So this one is a calculation. So this calculated, or once this calculation is done, it would be passed in to the variable force, which was declared here. And then that force would be then applied to the apply central force. So what is the transform basis Z? So transform basis, to what I think or to what I understand, is that it is used to calculate the directions, or the direction which the player is to, it will calculate the direction where the player will move. So it will be multiplied with the move speed with a strength of 1000.0, and then the delta, and then the delta is what I know is just is the calculation of the time elapsed from the previous frame to the current frame, which is essentially for I don't know, smooths for smoothing the game. And this calculation, once this is calculated, it would be then passed into the force, and then that force would be then passed in to the property of the rigid body 3D called the apply central force, which is used to move the player actually. So if we run this now, we would now be moving, but we just made the forward so we can move uh freely. So let's um let's do the other one. Navigate to the project settings, and then let's have our backward. We also have the left, and then the right. Good. Backward would be S. It's okay. Left left would be A. Right would be D. Close. Let's also have our input is action pressed, which is the backward. If the backward or S has been pressed, it would have a calculation here, which is the transform basis Z. I will explain why later. We assign the coordinate Z multiplied with the move speed, so it will move with a speed of 1000.0, and then the delta for smooth smooth yeah, smoothing. um let's also make the left one is action pressed, the left, then the force transform basis, but in our case would be X, because we are to move left and right. In our case it would be left, correct? So if you think about moving to left and right, we would move horizontally, correct? So we use the x-axis coordinate rather, and so we multiplied by move speed, then multiplied by delta. Last one would be the right. Oops. And then the force, transform basis x multiplied by the movement speed, and then the delta. Okay, what do we have here? Can find, oh, I think this would be minus, Because if we move to the left, moving to the left would increase moving to the left would increase the coordinates of left x-axis, and the x-axis would increase. I don't know, let me try. Ooh, it does work. But the D does not work. Force transform basis that x move speed times delta. Should I also use this one? Whoa. So what what's working right now is the moving to the left and moving to the forward only. Boom. So what could be the possible ano? Oh, it's because it's action just pressed. So is action pressed is where we hold a key, and that is why it would detect that hold key. However, whereas rather, there is action just pressed is a key that is pressed promptly, like this. So it's not detecting the backward and the right because it has a property of the just pressed. So if we perhaps put it to the is action pressed, hopefully it would work. It does work. So we are now able to move our player. But why is it moving too fast? We have to limit the movement speed. Oh, it can't move. Hey, yo. So let's also create a jump feature, I guess. I'm sorry if there are many tutorials that there are many better tutorials in there, and we can simply copy paste them and code with them, and we can also just chat GPT this one. But in my case, I want to improve as a programmer, so I want to test what I've learned from Freecode Camp, and I want to take the painful way or the painful route where I will be slow learning in this process. But the good side is that I will be able to absorb it, I guess. But anyways, so let's move on to the jump method. Let me see if it's still working. Yes, it is working. Movement. So let's have our jump. So is action pressed. So as you can see, there are no jump in here, correct? So let's navigate to the project settings again. Then let's name it as jump. Add, then listening for input, that would be spacebar. Close. And then there would be now jump. See? And if so, if we press the spacebar, which is actually named as jump, we would assign it to a variable called force, which is the variable force is assigned to the vector 3, a vector 3.0, which is a predefined constant, which is also used for calculating the x and y and z coordinates, which is used for directions and movements. Yeah, so we assign a assignment operator with a calculation of transform basis, and then I want to jump, and if we jump, we don't jump, we jump like vertically, correct? So we use the y. So I'm gonna use the y coordinate in this case, and I'm gonna multiply it for, let's say, it would have a jump strength of hmm, also, I don't know, yeah, that would be the same jump strength multiplied by delta literal what Oh, okay. So let me check. Boing, boing, boing. It's not working. Why? Perhaps we have to minus transform basis. Why? It's still not working. Hmm. Oh, again we just pressed the just pressed again. That's crazy. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh, but the problem is that if I hold it, it would have like a creative mode. Hey yo. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay. So, I guess the next thing we would do is now the mouse input. But I will have to save this video for now, and that would be the next episode.